Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, Amy Linden.
How are you, Courtney? Oh, we like that now, huh? You don't know my middle name. I can give it. Hello, Courtney Montgomery Anderson.
Hello, Amy Dolores Linden.
No, my middle name is Elizabeth.
Come on, Elizabeth. Amy Elizabeth.
I know, right?
Amy Elizabeth, come in here right now.
Right now, really.
Oh, it's us, y'all.
Sorry.
Pantheon Podcast presents ImmaLetYouFinish, you know.
Yep.
Pantheon Podcast fam, it's us. We're here. It's right after the holiday weekend.
You know that dumb, just quickly, I was going to say that dumb bitch Republican woman congressperson, but there's so many, I actually have to remember her name.
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
No, the other dumb bitch.
The one here in New York?
No. Lauren Boebert or some crap like that. Yeah. She literally tweeted, "It's not a coincidence that the 4th of July this year was on a Sunday." And it's like, it is a coincidence. It's called the calendar, you stupid bitch.
It's like, girl.
Yeah. But
like, I'm so over them in this weird we own religion, but it's not even really religion. You're using you're all going to burn in hell and perish for what y'all are doing in the name of religion. FYI. So keep having fun because your afterlife is going to be quite hot.
Plus, she's our first, you know that she only got her GED like 5 years ago. So
it's like this whole use of religion as a weapon is very...
But anyway, it's not a coincidence. Right. But how was your... It's not a coincidence. Well, yes, it is. It's called the calendar.
Kind of, sort of. My 4th was very much, I cleaned the apartment.
Very good.
And then I did nothing else.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no. Actually, no, I can't remember because that was the whole weekend because it got rained out essentially until the 4th. Right. I went around the corner to a friend's house who's been part of my whole COVID bubble. And, we watched all of the local Harlem fireworks all around us from his
Albert?
No, my friend Jules.
Okay. I kind of pretty much, when you're unemployed every day is the 4th, but I kind of, kept it local. There was another big house music party on South Portland. This one was way more house, capital H, like fat black women wheeling over a track type of thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So I kind of walked by, saw it, hung out a little bit. And then for the actual 4th, I watched.
Was it packed? Was it all the cool kids as usual?
No, it was not. Well, there were some cool kids, but Courtney, I mean, I'm a cool kid, so I didn't see myself in the crowd. No, I wasn't like in the mood to dance because I was just sort of like over it. But it was. I watched the fireworks, and this year the impromptu fireworks, the unofficial fireworks were professional level.
The fireworks that were going off in front of us in Harlem were full-on situation.
No, I was wow.
We were clapping like, this is amazing.
No, we were like looking at the Macy fireworks going, wow, that's great. Oh, shit, what's going on?
We had the Macy's on the TV, but we weren't even looking at that because everything that was happening around us was spectacular.
No, it was. Just a question, though. They were shooting off the Empire State Building.
They were.
Okay, I just want to make sure we weren't being attacked. That was part of it.
That shit happened. It did.
They were like, cool. Well, speaking of being attacked,
Eric Adams seems like he's going to be the Democratic candidate for mayor, which means basically he's going to be the next mayor of New York.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're running, I could run against Curtis Sliwa and win.
I feel like I could run against Curtis Sliwa and win. I could come into this race right now as an independent.
Say I'm running against Curtis Sliwa. I know.
And that's my whole campaign was like, hey, I'm not him. And
I'm not Curtis Sliwa. Vote for me. Oh, okay, cool. I don't know. I've already said what I feel about Eric Adams. Not for nothing, and I am not I mean, if I were Catherine Garcia right now and I had just lost a highly fucked up calculated race by less than 1%. I might be speaking to the higher authorities about this, but I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I just find Eric Adams to be, I don't find him to be a team player. I think the fact that he immediately dismissed the idea of bringing on some of his opponents onto his administration was a nasty move, because whatever you may think of Catherine Garcia, she is eminently qualified to do some of the stuff that he has no idea how to do. You told me that one of his things he's going to be working towards is bringing nightlife back to New York City. He wants to bring,
well, because so many of the arts and people, the creative people, have left New York. Everybody left under de Blasio. Right. They all left.
What's he going to do?
He's going to try to do, I guess, maybe through grants and programs and trying to make spaces more affordable for the arts. Like, listen, you just sent that article about that local Brooklyn record shop in Brooklyn that's getting priced out for another wine/pizza shop. You know what I mean? It's like 4 years, you survive a pandemic, but you can't survive. You cannot survive having rent for your retail space in fucking Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. That's crazy.
Right, yeah. Well, that street, I know that block is getting that's where Saragina is. It's very, that over there is getting, like, pricey. But, look, he's going to be the mayor. I am a Democrat. I am not a fan of Eric Adams. To be very honest, and this is going to sound really fucked up, but I hope people realize I'm not saying it to be fucked up. Some of the things I disagree with him about are not issues that are going to have a direct impact on my life. I don't agree with stop and frisk, but the reality is I'm a middle-aged white woman. Nobody's stopping and frisking me on any level for anything. Because nobody likes old women. He's in bed with big business. I mean, so has every mayor in this city, basically.
Even when they say they're not, listen, we watched de Blasio. I remember we really thought he tried to act like he was going to come in here and really be about the people. And everything has gotten so expensive under him. And he screams, I got free pre-K. It's like, great. But everybody left.
Yeah.
So for the wealthy people who are here with their second homes, they have free pre-K, but their kids are already going to some private school. So,
well, what I have to say about Adams, and I mean, on one level, as a New Yorker, I sort of agree with the sort of aggression of the statement. But if he is going to be the mayor and he is going to try to encourage the arts, he can't make snarky comments about telling people who aren't from New York, get the fuck out. We don't need you. You're not a real New Yorker. Because some of the greatest art in New York City has been created by the outsiders coming in. So he's going to have to. That's a nice little.
Except, I feel like we're not getting those old school New Yorkers anymore. We're getting just some weird people coming here, and I just need the income inequality portion and to really start to level up in this city. There are people who are just stuck in cycles of abject poverty, and they cannot get out. And the opportunities are bad. The schools are bad. You should not be able to watch your whole neighborhood change, and you get where are you pushing people to? There's no cheap place in New York. Where are you pushing them to? You know what I mean? You're pushing them to have to leave New York because it's just become not sustainable to even live in your fucking Bed-Stuy.
Well, we'll see what he can do because for nothing, he's one of the he's not exactly been a people's person when it comes to he's a real estate developer guy. So
so we'll see,
and we'll be waiting for those Curtis Mayfield tribute concerts.
I mean,
Eric. All right. Well, it's funny that we're talking about mayors because I have an actual segue here. This is a good segue. Right. So I, like every other sentient human being this weekend, either went to go see in the theater or watched on Hulu Summer of Soul, which I'll talk about in a second. I'm hoping you saw it as well. But one of the best sort of moments in it is a very brief little appearance by then Mayor John Lindsay, who was welcome, first off, how cute was he? I forgot what a handsome devil he was, very Robert Redford-ish. And the welcome he got on stage, I can't even imagine any mayor in this city, because John Lindsay was not just a white guy. He was a capital W waspy white guy. Like the kind of white that you and I don't know. Well, actually, and He got up on stage. That concert was sponsored by the city of New York and Maxwell House Coffee. And you have to watch the movie to explain that weirdness. But it was just sort of cool to see, like, the mayor greeted by a completely black crowd, greeted like, one of us, we accept you, one of us.
Right,
That was a lovely moment. So that's
it's a really good snapshot in time.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is when they tried to sell this footage all of those years ago, nobody wanted it. And the fact that he had all of this footage, no one wanted it. No one wanted it until Questlove really kind of got in there. The fact that it sat around and it's such an amazing snapshot of a moment that most people don't even know happened.
Right.
And then you get to see a lot of those artists in their prime.
At their
peak. What I mean? It's
peak.
like doing their thing.
And the type, it reminded me of sort of the New Orleans rhythm, the Jazz and Heritage Festival, and that there was definite thing. Well, I mean, I will say one thing about no one knew about it. Yes, Amir was very, very, obviously, because he has the clout, he has the money, he has the reputation, but there had been people over the years trying to resurrect this.
But that's what I mean, but no one wanted it. If somebody wanted it, if a network or a film company wanted it, it shouldn't have been this hard. It's never that hard. It wasn't that hard for Woodstock or any of you know what I mean? It shouldn't have been that hard.
Yeah, the Woodstock, and so this show, it was over 3 weekends or something like that in Mount Morris Park, which is now Marcus Garvey Park, which is a free show. Nina Simone, Sly Family Stone, the Mavis Staples, Mahalia Jackson thing alone. I watched that again, just that segment on Sunday, because it is jaw-droppingly incredible. Edwin Hawkins singers, B.B. King, Sonny Chirac, The Fifth Dimension. That segment is, because it made me remember how great they were and how much a part of
it. But it made me this weekend pull out I have a couple of Fifth Dimension albums on vinyl. And I was playing their albums on vinyl this weekend after watching it, because it really put me in a Fifth Dimension sort of.
Yeah, but what I was going to say about the Woodstock thing, and I'm not in any way excusing it, but the thing with Woodstock, I mean, so this happened a few months before. Woodstock was August 1969. This was, I'm going to say June, July 1969, July. Woodstock became a thing, because there was more sort of muscle behind it, but also what it represented in terms of, it became like a news item because of the amount of people up there.
Right.
So that was sort of why the attention, you could say in good manner, along with the fact that Black history is always erased, but why the attention shifted. Because suddenly you had 400,000 people or 500,000 people. But no, this is just a great film, regardless of what the Woodstock
it's amazing.
It's an amazing film.
Everybody should watch it.
Did you see? I didn't know it was his dad, but Miles Marshall Lewis's dad is one of the talking heads.
How crazy is that?
Because I saw the credits and I'm like, what's Miles? How did Miles get? I mean, how did Miles get a credit? He wasn't there. And I called Michael Gonzalez. I'm like, why's Miles got a credit? He goes, that's his dad. Greg Lewis talking about Sly Stone. That's his dad. And I went, oh my God, that's hilarious. So his dad is there, and no, it's just great performances, and it's not like some rinky-dink production. It's a multiple camera shoot.
They had a real director. It's a real shoot, which makes it even better.
Well, I think that this
and now it's preserved forever. People will always be able to see
this. Movie for the right time. It couldn't have come at a better time, as we're working our way back into live music again, and we're dealing with all the racial stuff, which is a never-ending racial stuff. This is perfect, and it's performance at the peak. Just real briefly, on a completely revelatory in a different way, I finally got to see the Sparks Brothers, which is
you've been talking about it for so long. I know. How was it?
It's great. It's a great documentary.
Another really underrated band. We should do a show talk about their music.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely do an underrated, because they're under. It's like one of those groups where I was watching it. So it's done by Edgar Wright, who did Baby Driver and Shaun of the Dead. So it's done by a real filmmaker who's like an avid fan. Sparks, even if you've never heard Sparks. I mean, Ron Mail, who's the guy with the little Charlie Chaplin Hitler mustache, was in the I'm Coming Up video by Paul McCartney. He's Paul McCartney pretends to be him.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching this film, first off, it's just a movie about never giving up. These guys have been around for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been making music for 50 years without really maybe one big breakthrough hit.
Yeah, but not without ever really having that breakthrough moment. But having a real relevant career, you know what I mean? With real fans who are obsessive about them.
And what's crazy about this is you're watching it and you're going, okay. And they talk about it in the movie. They're ahead of it. They basically invented electropop for all intents and purposes.
Right.
High falsetto, super flamboyant singer. Queen opened up for them in England.
Right.
Giorgio Moroder, they worked with him before Blondie got a hold of them. Okay,
right.
So it's like one of these things where you're like, wow. But the funniest thing is they have what's the guy from Depeche Mode? Not Depeche Mode, Erasure. Vince Clarke. Vince Clarke.
I was going to say, why was I going to say Vince Neil? Like, who's
me
Vince
too.
Neil?
Yeah, I mean, Motley Crue. Complete opposite.
Right.
But they talk about the idea that every time you look at a group where there's the lead singer, the good-looking lead singer running around, and
then the other guy.
And the other guy. That's Sparks. And someone, and this broke my heart, and I thought about you, Courtney. Someone interviewed Neil Tennant, our person, and they didn't show it on camera though, and said to him, "How come you guys never acknowledged Sparks?" And Neil Tennant went, "Oh, you naughty boy," and walked off. And I was like, "Wah, wah."
Right.
But it's a great documentary. It'll probably be on streaming soon. If you like Sparks, you'll love it. Even if you don't know him, it's just a fun. And there's no drama, there's no drug use, there's no who's fucking who. It's just two guys.
I want to see the Rick James documentary too, the one that just premiered. That's coming to I believe, Showtime in September.
Yeah, maybe? That's the one that Sasha James.
And I heard that's really good. I heard that's really and that's there's Baby, and I've been playing a lot of his music lately, and the Mary Jane Girls albums that he produced.
Yeah,
like, man, Rick James was doing that shit.
I hope they go deep into the Rick James Prince.
Right. Mishigosh.
Yeah. Look at you, Mishigosh. You all chewing up.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. All right. On a way more serious note, so Nicole Hannah-Jones is a revered journalist, and she won the Pulitzer Prize for the 1619 Project, aka every white supremacist Republican's nightmare, because it was in the New York Times as part of the New York Times Magazine section, and it was introducing a look at our history and saying that slavery did not begin in the 1800s, that 1619 was the date when the slaves were first brought here. Anyway, so she won the Pulitzer. Okay, so that's like as good as it gets. And she's a professor, and she was offered a job at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She wanted a tenure track. She was denied tenure.
Well, the job that she was offered comes with tenure.
It was a tenure track job.
And she was the first Black woman to be offered that position, and she was the first person to ever be denied tenure with that position.
Well, because there was an outside, because UNC Chapel Hill tends to be fairly liberal. Chapel Hill's a pretty liberal town. But there was an outside donor who was a Trumpy who shut it down, critical race theory, blah, 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 blah. And then UNC reversed themselves and offered it. And then she just chef's kiss and went, fuck you. I'm going to Howard. And not only am I going to Howard, they endowed a chair for her. And, guess what? I'm going to bring Ta-Nehisi Coates with me. So now you have this world-famous Supreme team of Black intellectual journalists.
And she's bringing $15 million plus in donor dollars to do things in the program. Yes, with the program. And she was offered jobs from, everywhere. She said, everywhere.
Right.
They're lost because once she went to UNC, the way they treated her, she was like, I was embarrassed and I was humiliated.
Right. It's like don't beg the guy to go out with you when there's somebody else going, not only we're going to create a position for you, we're going to have buku endowments. So you're going to get money from every major. This is a coup for any school, but especially for Howard. And this, and then to say,
and this is coming right off of McKinsey's big donation to Howard. Like they're having a banner last couple of years.
This is not only, like I said, so you have 2 MacArthur Grant people, a Pulitzer Prize, 2 Pulitzer Prize winning people. I think Ta-Nehisi has also won the Pulitzer.
Yes, he has. And do you know what this is going to do for enrollment and kids applying, wanting to go to Howard? It's going to be
it's great.
Really great for them.
And it's going to also shine a light on a very maligned field, which is journalism. I mean, everybody blames journalism because, whatever you want to say about you may not like these 2 people, but they are fantastic writers. I am thrilled for academia. I'm thrilled for journalism. I'm thrilled for women. I'm thrilled for Black women. Everything. This is win, 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 win.
And it's really interesting that we're saying this because ESPN has a woman problem. ESPN has a Black woman problem, and they have a woman's problem right now with 2 of their premier journalists on that network. Rachel Nichols, who, if you're an ESPN fan, if you're a basketball fan, everyone knows who Rachel is. She's been a journalist and reporter in the field for 20 plus years.
Right.
She's been the host of The Jump for the last 10. Maria Taylor, who's a former WNBA player, is a rising star at the network. And she used to do college football. Now she's doing more, she's started doing in college basketball as well. That she started doing the NBA. Then she got promoted to the co-host of NBA Countdown, which is the premier show that comes on before the games, NBA games, and then they do the halftime reports and then the wrap up after the game. So they're on network on, like, you will see Maria Taylor on ABC before
when they do the crossover,
and because now we're in the finals. And the finals are on ABC, you will see her. So, Rachel was caught having what she thought was a private conversation, and an employee at ESPN.
With an agent, though, and that's what's weird. Like, what's his involvement? That worries me, too.
It was LeBron's old publicist. No, that's what happened was they've known each other for 20 million years. Without digging really into the conversation, it kind of seemed like her energy was like, you can promote her, and I know you guys, you have a horrible track record with women, you have a horrible track record with Black women, but you don't need to try to bring her in and come in on my things. It almost felt like, defending and peeing on your territory. It's a big mess.
It is.
And what it brought up to me, though, was a thing that people, I see why everybody is angry, but I'm like, entertainment is a really ugly game.
Yeah.
And everybody, even the people y'all like and love, are having crazy conversations. I know I've worked at 2 management companies, a television network, and a record label. I was Black in the pop department, and then both my management companies were Black. Some of the conversations I've had to have, it would blow people's minds.
Yeah, so I've heard stuff that I probably should not have heard.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, when they heard this, I'm like, listen, when I heard what she was saying, I didn't, it is a dog eat dog. Everybody is fighting to protect their spot. And I think that some people don't realize when you're in certain positions, if you see somebody coming for your spot, you're going to fight for it too, because that's what people do.
And also it's funny.
And it's ugly. It ain't pretty.
It's funny because I was wondering, I wonder how Courtney feels about this, and I'm glad we're having. I can see all sides of this.
So can I. I can see every side to it.
I think the woman, first off, they always have to replace a woman with a woman. They never replace a man with a woman. So right off the bat, women are like, we can only have one. I am not going to say it troubles me what she said, but I can understand it. Also because she's 47, this other woman is young, and let's not discount that. 47 in TV years is 110.
And ESPN's track record, we're talking about, this is coming off of Jameel Hill leaving, Carrie Champion leaving. So she was saying all of that and being like, listen, I think, and this may be an unpopular situation to say, but I'm going to say I have watched during this whole last couple of years. I think a lot of companies making knee-jerk reactions, like we need somebody black, and just shoving the wrong people in positions and doing crazy shit because we need something black. We'll make a black version. And it's like, that's not what this fight's about.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, you know what I mean?
I share
because
that.
I see every side of it. As a black person, I 100% see Maria's side being like, yo, this is fucked up, and my colleague feels this way about me. The flip side, I can see where Rachel's like, I'm defending my turf. I see that she fits a lot of boxes. They fucked up. All these black women have left. I can see where this could come. I'm peeing on my territory. Yeah. But that is the hard part about entertainment. Y'all don't even know.
And you know what? I know. Listen. I have heard I have heard editors say things to me about assigning writers where I'm like, I can't even believe you think it's okay to say that in front of me. But
crazy shit.
And the thing is,
so it's not shocking.
It's not shocking. I don't know what's it. I do not. I think this is as much a question of women having to fight for a very small piece of the pie because now they have put another black woman in. They're both women are out of the equation now, right? Rachel is not going to be doing it. Maria Taylor is not going to be doing it. There's another woman they put in. But I can just see these. I would like to see one circumstance where they pull a man out of position and put a woman in. Why is it always that there has to be the one? And that, I think, is
and Maria Taylor's a star. I hate that she's dragged into something.
I hate that all of it. I hate the whole thing. And I
like Rachel Nichols. I've fucked with Rachel for years. It's a fucked up situation. And I see literally every side of it. And the reason why I think I can come at it like this is conversations I've had to have. I've worked black artists at pop radio. And the conversations I've had to have honestly within the management company, with the record label, with people at radio, international conversations when they weren't trying to take my artists to different shit. Y'all just start like, to me, what she was saying is like, kind of like icing on the cake compared to some of the real shit that's really fucking said. And when people are fighting for their shit, like, these entertainment jobs, it's really fucked. It is y'all, it's a nasty, it is not for the faint of heart.
And I will say this, and then I do want to talk about black women, we'll talk about, but and again, social media, fuck everybody, but I think going after Rachel, I did not know that she was related to Mike Nichols by marriage.
She's married to his son, yes.
But I think that's, come on, shocking, nepotism, really? Wow, gee. We'll discuss that at the end of the show. But she's qualified. She's super.
One other thing, too, and this is real fucking talk. I'm kind of looking at the employee that heard that and passed it around the company because it's kind of like, you ran across something that you thought somebody was they thought they were having a private conversation. And I don't actually think that you get some medal for if you see somebody's private conversation and you know what this field is like, to pass it, that's a choice. Because let me just tell you something. I've been privy to so much shit that if I fucking started talking, there'd be headlines around, headlines around the fucking world. But it's like, why would you do that?
You should have taken her. Yeah, and I also would like some of the focus to be on the man on this conversation.
There could have been a different kind of private conversation about that without it being passed around. But that's
our social media headline click thing. So that's the problem with that. But yeah, I'm glad it's not a, no pun intended, black or white issue. There's a lot of variables in this, and it's variable.
And I hate to see that it's the women at ESPN. This is it's the women.
No, it always is. Well, gee, who runs the company? You know. I mean, all right. Let's talk about Sha'Carri Richardson. Did you know that when I was a young Amy Linden, I aspired to be a track star? I did. I watched a documentary about Wilma Rudolph when I was a little kid, and I was like, I want to be a track star. And I was on the boys' track team. Needless to say, I was not as fast as Wilma Rudolph, but I do love track and field.
And when I was a young Courtney Anderson, I worked on the track. But that's another sad story for my pimps up, hoes down tales.
I don't even want to know.
I kid.
Yeah, no, but I don't. No, I still don't want to even know. No, but I ran pre-Title IX. There was no girls track team. I had to run on the boys track team, and they kept telling me I couldn't run unless I was wearing a bra. And I'm like, but I don't have any breasts. I'm 12.
Right.
I'm a stick with hair. I'm a little stick with hair who wants to smoke.
So what do you feel about the whole situation?
Okay,
now that we know that she's not going to be on the relay team.
All right, here is what I have to say about this. First off, the fact that pot is still considered a performance, I don't know, every pothead I ever known can't get off the fucking couch. So I don't know how that's performance enhancing. They say it's because it relaxes you before the race. It is decriminal in the state she smoked it in, which is Oregon. It's decriminalized. You can buy it at a dispensary anywhere. That, and I'm very sorry about her mom, why the reporter knew about it and felt that it was his or her place to break the news about her biological mother. That's fucked up. That, and she owned up to it. Bravo for that.
Yes.
That said, like, dude, you know you're going to get drug tested.
The rules are the rules.
The rules are the rules. You
and
may
I do
not
believe
agree
in
with
rules.
it. You don't. I think it's.
And if we need to change them, then let's work on changing them.
I think it's a stupid
but the rules are the rules.
The rules are the rules.
It's dumb, but I think for a lot of young people, it's a lot of, well, the rules don't matter. I'm like, actually, rules do matter.
Yeah.
And to whom much is given, much is expected. And if you are an elite athlete, unfortunately, you have a strict set of rules you just have to abide by. And I think that it was an important lesson for this young lady. And I understand needing something to cope. And we all sympathize with her and have empathy for her story. Absolutely. But the rules are the rules. And I do like this. As a young person, she didn't make excuses for herself.
Yeah, she said, I did it.
And listen, the next Summer Olympics are in 3 years. She's 21. You know what I mean? Because of the delay, she'll be there. She'll be, and we'll see her at the World Championships next year. She'll be, she's going to race at the Prefontaine this summer. So, I'm like,
I feel bad.
We've all learned hard lessons, especially in your youth. There's certain shit, and you take the consequence, and that's what I like. Sometimes you just have to understand.
She got busted.
Yeah, and you just have to take your consequence, and then you can move on.
And I also think, though, I mean, her not getting chosen because her suspension would have been up and she could have been chosen for the fall. I'm sorry. Other people had been selective. So what are you supposed to say to them? Oh, we're going to boot you off because the superstar. It's a fucked up thing to say, but that's not fair to those other women. Now, do the Olympics have a problem with women? Yeah. Do they have a problem with black women? Yeah. I don't like that there's a parallel being drawn between Sha'Carri's situation and Michael Phelps a few years ago, because Michael Phelps never tested positive for weed. He was at a party where there was a bomb. I'm not excusing it.
But he was also suspended for 3 months. He did get. She was suspended for 1 month. So people need to stop comparing everything. I'm over that.
Yes.
Every situation needs to be judged on its own. I am so tired of everyone doing that. Well, this one listen. That does not change this situation here. It does nobody any good to start pulling up this and that. She owned up to it. The next Olympics is in 3 years. We will see her. We will see her at the World Championships next year. She will get her gold medals. There's time.
And so, again, I mean, I would have loved to have seen her compete, but it's a fucked up rule, but it is the rule. And that's it. I mean, it's like, all right, well, speaking of rules, clearly they don't apply to Bill Cosby because...
I'm going to let you take this one because I really don't.
Okay. Here's the thing that people have to understand, and people do understand. He is not innocent of those charges. There was a really fucked up prosecutor who, by the way, I didn't know this, was the same guy defending Trump in the impeachment trial, who was such a maroon that they were like, had to change everything. Go, okay, you can't be on camera anymore because you're an idiot. They made a way too technical deal that Jack McCoy never would have agreed to, Courtney. And it was a stupid deal that he made with Cosby. And because of that technicality, and because Cosby, who miraculously is no longer blind and can't walk.
Miraculously, he's able to see and do interviews.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the old man act is like... Sir, here's the thing. Even if, 70 women aren't lying.
70
women aren't lying.
Yeah.
I don't care what you guys say. 70 of anything are not lying.
No.
And who wants to lie about that?
Exactly. I actually think it's 60, but there's probably 10 more since we counted. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I love how people always say, believe women and believe black women, And then there are black women in there and said, this happened to me. Then it's like, so we don't believe them when it's somebody we like?
Yeah. Well, again, I think the important thing is to remember he was not found innocent. He was let gone on a technicality. And he...
I don't even want to talk about him anymore.
Yeah. Well,
fuck
him.
I don't
really
want to talk about him anymore.
Yeah, no.
Because honestly, it makes me very...
It makes me
I think about, I have a sister, I have a mom, I have a lot of female friends. I have friends who are survivors of, different sort of sexual assault situations. And I think about them and that it's like, I can see where women get discouraged by coming and telling their truth. I really see that.
In the face.
And I think as men, we need to, I will say, this is what I say about him. You notice all of the people who defended him publicly are like his female co-star, right? And things like that. Notice all of his male friends, his Rat Pack of comedians, none of them said a word. Sure. And to me, that speaks volumes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just
because if somebody was out there said something about my best friend, and I know it, I'd be screaming from the rooftop.
They all knew it.
You would all know my voice.
They all knew it, and it's very sad. And fuck him. I mean, really, fuck him, and he'll get his in the end. All right, well, let's talk about something a little more uplifting, because you do listening for me. I appreciate that.
Yes, I do. You listen,
and I listen. You listen, and then I listen to what you're listening to.
I was listening to Laura Mvula has a new album, and I have to tell you, I'm a big Laura Mvula fan, but maybe we need to do a show and dig into her, because it is one of those things where, she was supposed to be a big deal when she was originally signed.
She's
and came
British,
out.
right?
She is. And I believe, the records, her first two records kind of underperformed. She was dropped from her original label. And now she's back with a new album, Pink Noise, that I like, but it's an odd, unusual record. I'm like, I don't know if this is the one to get an audience back to you. I like it, but it's different.
I went back. I mean, she is somebody who was supposed to be, she was very much being positioned in that sort of lane between like Coachella and Afropop. You know what I mean? Like she was kind of the quirky, a great singer, has a background as an a cappella. I mean, great voice, almost operatic voice.
And I really like this album, but it's very specific when I listen to it. You know?
It's, I think she's sort of being positioned in some ways. This is a way. If you could sort of take a little bit of St. Vincent's, a little bit of FKA Twigs, and then sheen it up production-wise. Imaging, she's very kind of presentational, performative. I think she is not for everybody. She is not going to be a number one artist. I mean, let's just hold it at that. She is not a mainstream artist. She is an interesting performer. I think because of streaming, we do have room for interesting as opposed to commercial.
Absolutely.
So I went and listened to it. I have to give it more, but who she vocally reminds me of? Angelique Kidjo a lot.
Oh, I love Angelique.
I love it. I love Angelique. I love her as a human being.
I
love her.
She's
I love
amazing.
her. I actually ran into her in the airport at O'Hare when we were coming back from Rome, and I'm like, Angelique, what are you doing here? She goes, what are you doing here? And I'm like, you must be getting off a plane, and I'm trying to get on one. Right. No, she's the best. So she reminds me of that. So she's an interesting artist. She's definitely worth checking out.
Definitely. And I gotta tell you, man, Bill's Red Hot and Free, the Red Hot album is so fucking good.
All right,
I danced my way through that entire album all weekend long on repeat. The Titus Burridge song, Dance Motherfucker, and the Sam Sparrow song, the Cricket.
I'm hitting that fool up. I'm going to go, come on. I'm like, come on, Bill, come through with like something. Send me a CD.
It just, especially that second half, it's such a move and just make you just dance.
Good for him.
And then that made me pull out Khalees's Flesh Tone, her dance album moment, and I've just been spinning that all weekend. Is that
current or is that?
That was from. It was from like 2013, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think she.
So good. Yeah. So good.
I have not been listening to much of anything because I'm obsessed with the new French television. I'm sorry. I know.
Okay, what's your new French television?
It's not new. It's been around forever, but. You can't laugh when I say this, but or you can laugh off camera. So Amazon Prime, when they had their Prime days, they had a thing where you could get Sundance Channel and AMC Plus for 99 cents a month. So I'm like, I could do that. So it's called The Bureau. I'm just watching it.
I know The Bureau. Yeah.
I'm just watching it. It's it's fun. Whatever. Matthew Kasowitz, who was in Lahane, who directed. I think I interviewed him in like 1998 in Paris. And what's so funny is I'm trying to think of how did we set up the interview in the days before cell phones?
Right.
How did I find this guy in Paris? But what I have listened to a little bit is the new Tyler, the Creator, which is the #1 album in the country right now, called Call Me If You Get Lost. And I think I mentioned this before, that Tyler was somebody that I did not like in the beginning because I found the homophobia. I found him problematic. I found him.
Well, isn't he like a bisexual boy?
He's gay. Yeah. By the way, I just want to bring up something about Shikari real fast, and then I'll in that vein. But I just was like not in the mood to hear like a snot-nosed teenager talk about fags and bitches. I'm not in the mood. But his last album was really good, Igor. And if he hadn't been black and from a rap group, it never would have been characterized as a rap album. Right. And this album is in a similar vein. There are more rappers on it. But so far, I mean, he's an interesting guy. And he's stealth. Because he's one of those guys that like older people like, the kids like him. So I was just going to bring up real fast. I don't know if this, and just lightning round.
I couldn't care less about him.
No, not who, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm just not. I don't care. I'm not into him. I'm not into it.
I just wanted to check it out. But what do you think about these tweets that they found at Chicago?
Now, are they real? I keep asking people, are they real or are they not? Are they some manufactured shit?
You talking about where she talks about Little Nas X?
Yes, and all that. Okay. Are those real? Because I've seen. We've had cases of people making up fake tweets and being like, da-da-da, and they'll put your name in the verified check and everybody thinks it's real.
Yeah, well.
Because I've seen it around social media, but I haven't seen it as a story anyway. And I've looked to be like, is this real?
Me neither. So, I haven't seen it taken to the next level.
And my thing is, I'm kind of over as soon as somebody becomes popular, it's like the internet's job to sit around and try to find everything. Well, we got to bring them down. They're popular. Everyone has a past. Everyone.
Well, her past was 3 months ago.
But one of the other tweets was from years ago, and that girl's 21. So to me, she was like 15.
Okay. There was Twitter. There was Twitter when she was. I'm being very serious. Was there Twitter?
Yes. 5 years ago, there was Twitter 5 years ago, girl. Yes. Oh, well, But so I don't know. Listen, if it's true, it's unfortunate. I don't care. Like, I don't even care about the story. Little Nas X does not give a fuck.
Yeah, okay? Not at all.
He is living his best life, about to put out his album. And you know what? As gays, especially as gay black men, we're so used to motherfuckers slinging slings and arrows at us. You guys don't even understand. Like, we have it's tough and it's hard. But if you do certain things and you're in certain careers, you develop that skin like armor because you know that it's going to be coming at you. And it's because it's been coming at us our whole lives. So not saying that it's fair, but I know I learned how to cope and deal because before I knew what the word faggot was, I was a little kid hearing somebody say that about me. Right. You know what I mean? And then I kind of figured out they were talking about me. And I wasn't one of those people who internalized it like, oh my God, I'm different. I was like, bitch, I'm different. I'm a motherfucking unicorn. Bitch, you're always going to look like this and live here. I may be whatever you called me, but I'm going to be the fierce one. And I'm going to live in Manhattan. That's how I felt when I was little. I was like, you're not going to ruin me, bitch. I'm special. And I knew I was special. But that's having a different sort of mindset, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's a big feature on him in the Times this weekend, and I thought of you again. There's a huge feature on my personal Jesuses, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who are putting out their own album of their own stuff, and they are working with Robin on this record.
Fabulous. And
that literally made me so happy because I love
like what and how what are they gonna with her they're coming with beats, bitch. They're coming with beats. They're not gonna do a ballad with Robin. We're gonna get a beat.
No, and they're gonna push each other, Janet Jackson. But I will tell you that meeting. Have I ever met Jam and Lewis? They did something once when I worked at VH1, and one of the producers said something when I was on 4 on the Floor, and they on camera said, "We love Amy Linden. All hail Amy." And I was like, "And I can die right fucking now." And as far as I'm concerned, Jam and Lewis, nothing they do is bad. Nothing. They have range like no other producers, really. So when I read that they were going to be doing this album and that they were going to be working with Robin, I was like,
you were like, this is a match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven on both parts. All right. Well,
did you see? Wait,
made in
wait,
heaven,
hold on. Did you see me, Lynn? Did you see me, Lynn, yesterday?
Where was she? Walking down the street?
Well, she's part of the jury for the Cannes Film Festival. So yesterday was her first arrival.
Is she a lesbian?
Listen,
as well?
She's an icon in France. So
I know that.
And she got out the car. She had her red dress on, and her friends were like, Milen, and she turned around. She gave her Milen wave, and I was like, Milen.
You're going to die on that hill. You are going to fucking die on that fucking hill. And I applaud you for it. But you want to know why I'm going to die on that hill?
Because there's a view from that hill. And you know who else is not on the view from that hill?
Oh, look at you. Oh, you've been practicing your segues.
Boom.
Whatever.
Missing, ding dong.
Get your ass back to your, whatever. You know what? Listen,
And I liked her. Remember, when she first got on the show, I liked her. But then it just started. I liked her more than I liked Elizabeth Hasselbeck. I couldn't stand Elizabeth.
Oh, well, that's like saying you like I mean, Elizabeth Hasselbeck was like the trailer park version of like a conservative.
The thing is, it just got so crazy. And it was.
Well, she got nasty.
And Joy kind of drives, and I have to be honest, Joy drives me crazy too. I don't think she's always right. Even though Joy and I kind of share the same politics, she ain't always right the way she comes at it either. But Megan's shit was it just got to the point where it was like, girl.
Well, she got nasty. I mean, you can present your case. I am not a conservative, obviously, but surely there are white blonde conservatives that they can find, because obviously you can only be a white blonde conservative. Well, no, they had a girl that was a woman that was not that was not blonde, but they got rid of her quick too. But she just became, a cunt. She really became a nasty cunt. And the point is that once you lose your sense of humor, once you become nasty and shrill, and I don't mean that in a sexist way because they always say women are shrill, but, and also she was just stupid. She was saying stuff that was just factually wrong. And she carved out a nice little lane when she was speaking against Trump, but she turned everything into critical race theory. I do blame her her heir to a great Puerto Rican fortune, husband, who is a very, very right-wing guy, in her ear with these talking points. But I just couldn't. I mean, she became nasty. She became that hair. Oh, my God. That was a desperate cry for help. So let her go. She was, I think, I have to say, and I have problems with Whoopi because I think Whoopi is.
She can be problematic at times.
She's problematic.
But she can. At times I look at her like, what? Like,
yeah.
Whoopi.
But I will say this, and sometimes you have to kind of like slow your roll, baby. And when you are screaming at an EGOT on television and going,
and you're both like, well, be the way you always are. Will you be the way you always are?
Yeah,
is that what we're going to be doing? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, it may have been good television, but it was bad.
But after a while, you know what? I stopped. You know how I'm a View watch every day. I stopped watching. Because I'm like, this has gotten too toxic for me. It's not even
predictable.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to see this.
No, it was predictable. So anyway, bye, Megan. You'll be fine. You know,
Sonny's
you've got
boring.
money. You can drop your father's name right and left. And whatever, Cowzilla. See you later.
Well,
bye.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, hairdressers and makeup artists are like, who can we destroy next? Who can we put glitter cornrows in the middle of their head? Oh my God. I was like, something's wrong with my TV. All right. It's time to say goodbye, my friend. Do what you do so best.
And it's time to say goodbye, my love. I'm sorry, I was having a big Dream Girls moment. All right, kids. Thank you for listening. You know what to do, right? Make sure you're following us on, first of all, our Facebook, because we're there a lot posting and talking to you guys. And since you're all in our age group listening to this show, I know you're on Facebook. And if you have a younger person in their 20s or early 30s that listens to us, we are on Instagram and Twitter. Our Instagram is ImmaLetYouFinish NY, and our Twitter's Finish Imma. I know I hated that. Every fucking iteration of ImmaLetYouFinish was done, but what can you do?
It's confusing.
And yeah, remember you can follow us at Pantheon. We're on the Pantheon Podcast Network. There's a great shows on there. We're in their main feed. Check out some of their other shows. If you really love music, there's something for you on this network.
There is, you know what I mean? As well. And, so have a great weekend.
And great scripted shows. Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Close us out.
All right, guys. Have a great week. We will see you next week.
Bye.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy. Taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.